that they have accorded us since our arrival in this beautiful city. The ground opening and the gala dinner welcoming us last night was very entertaining and refreshing. It reflected the energy in the Indonesian society and their brilliance and the talent that was demonstrated last night. It also portrayed their rich culture. We are happy to participate in this session because we believe it provides a platform to actualize the spirit of bonding of Indonesia-Africa cooperation. It is our hope at the end of this summit will emerge concrete steps for working toward economic transformation of our respective countries within the framework of the South-South cooperation. We believe Africa and Indonesia, working as strategic partners, can develop market diversification and increase our trade relations. We in Liberia have already begun on the trajectory of South-South cooperation with the Indonesian private company, the Golden Beryllium, which has the largest investment in oil palm industry, over $2 billion. We now look forward to taking this project up to the value chain for the manufacture of coking oil and other finished products and other derivatives for domestic and international markets. I, therefore, look forward to a fruitful and mutually beneficial outcome from this summit. And we also want to thank all of our African partners who have worked so hard to make it realize the benefit of our country through cooperation with our Indonesian partners. I want to thank you all for the support, and we look forward to working with Indonesia in a very special way in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia. distinguished delegates, we will be having one speaker non-English speaking. So please, if you require interpretation requiring the headphones, it is available on the left and right side of the ballroom. Once again, there will be a non-English speaking speaker, so we are inviting you to acquire your interpretation devices from the left and right side of the ballroom. Thank you. Excellency, we are still waiting for speakers to come into the room, so we request for your kind patience. In just a few moments, we will be starting our next panel discussion. Thank you. Once again, we do apologize. We're still waiting for speakers to arrive into the room. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly we request your patience. Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to panel discussion 4, Economic Transformation, Digital Horizons, exploring the impact and opportunities of tech innovation in Indonesia and Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, we're organizing some additional chairs. We request for your patience. We're so excited to have more speakers for this session. It is such a delight for us to have additional speakers for this panel discussion 4. This shows the excitement of the great cooperation of Indonesia and Africa going forward for the Bandung Spirit of Africa's Agenda 2063. We're greeting farewell. Let's give a warm applause of gratitude to the President of the Republic of Liberia. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for gracing us with your presence in this Indonesia-Africa Forum 2024. And now indeed, we are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome onto the stage our moderator for this session, Mr. Wahyu Wiwoho. Together with all the speakers, we now invite you to the stage for this panel discussion 4. Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Sandiaga Uno. Minister of Communications and Information Technology, Egypt, His Excellency Mr. Amir Talaat. Minister Secretary General of the Government, Guinea, His Excellency Tamba Benoit Kamano. Special Envoy for G20 Bali Global Blended Finance Alliance, also Board of Trustee, United in Diversity Foundation, Professor Mari Elka Pangestu. President Director of Bank Mandiri Indonesia, Mr. Darmawan Junaidi. Co-founder and CEO of Aruna Indonesia, Mr. Farid Naufal Aslam. CEO IBEX Technologies and Promotion, Mr. Ezzedine Kamil. And Director for Institutional Banking of Bank Negara Indonesia, Mr. Munadi Herlambang. And now that everybody's on stage, Mr. Moderator, the floor is yours.
Right, thank you, Bagilda. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is really honor to me to be given this very nice atmosphere in this opportunity to lead this session on the Indonesia-Africa Forum 2024. And we are going to discuss a topic of exploring the impact and opportunities of digital innovation in Indonesia and Africa, one of the crucial topics to be discussed regarding to increase the growth and the industry of the technology sector, and also to strengthen the partnership between the countries, African Union and also Indonesia. So the discussion will emphasize a number of challenges faced in digital sector, such as the accessibility and also the affordability in technology innovation. And I already accompanied by 8 panelists, and let me introduce once again, one more time, our panelists. So we have the first guest of honor. We have His Excellency Dr. Amir Talaat, Minister of Communication and Information Technology of Egypt. Good to see you, sir. Welcome to Bali.
Good to see you too. Very happy to be here.
Thank you. And next we have, this one is my role model in many aspects, in business, bureaucracy, fashion, sports, tourism and travel, and creative economy. Please welcome the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno. And we move on to the next panelist. We have the Minister and Secretary General of the Government of Guinea. Please welcome His Excellency Tamba Benoit Kamano. Good to see you, sir. And next we have Special Envoy for G20 Bali Global Blended Finance Alliance, Board of Trustee, United in Diversity Foundation, Professor Mari Elka Pangestu. Good to see you, Ibu. And next is my brand new friend coming from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, a young innovator and also entrepreneur, a CEO of a company focused on integrating privacy, technology, and promotion. Here we are, CEO of IBEX Technologies and Promotion, Ezzedine Kamil. Thank you, Ezzedine, for coming to Indonesia and joining this discussion. And next, we are proud to have a prominent banker from one of the largest Indonesia state-owned bank. He will be sharing best practices and also the success stories on digital initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President Director of Bank Mandiri, Darmawan Junaidi. Good to see you, Pak. And we have also the representative of another state-owned bank. Please welcome Mr. Munadi Herlambang, Institutional Director of Bank Negara Indonesia or BNI. Selamat sore, Pak. And last we have the co-founder and CEO of Aruna Indonesia, a leading fisheries and also marine companies or platform in Indonesia, Farid Naufal Aslam. Mas Naufal, good to see you. Thank you, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, panelists. Thank you for your time to attend this wonderful afternoon. And before we start, I would like to remind all of us that we have a very limited time, around 60 minutes or 1 hour for 9 of us to discuss. So there will be a allocation of duration or time will be around 6 to 7 minutes each panelist. So I will give each panelist one question to be answered first, and I will start from His Excellency Mr. Talaat. Mr. Talaat, thank you. And can you tell us a story, sir? A story that you bring from Egypt regarding the current condition in digital sector, in digital industry, and how can the government make sure that all citizens are included in digital transformation, sir? Please.
All right, thank you very much. Delighted to be among this distinguished panel. And first, I want to express my gratitude for the Indonesian government for organizing such a great event and the hospitality and the welcomeness that we've enjoyed since we set foot in Bali, this beautiful resort. Regarding your question of what I would call digital inclusion, and this was one of the main elements that we took into consideration setting up what we call Digital Egypt Strategy back in 2018. Maybe we were inspired by one of the SDGs, Leave No One Behind, where we make sure that the digital advantages and privileges are covered across the country. This takes place on 3 different platforms or work streams, if I may call them. First, the infrastructure. Second, services. Third, skills. So the first is to ensure that the infrastructure is inclusive, to ensure that the infrastructure is wide enough so that each and every citizen has the capability to get on the cyber world and access cyber world. We've executed several very important projects in this context. First is fiberizing all the fixed broadband networks within cities and swapping copper for fiber to ensure resilient and fast fixed internet services. In addition, we have a project that we call Decent Life or Haya Karima. Decent Life is about availing the services to our citizens in urban and rural areas to ensure that they do enjoy a decent life. And we started by selecting the services that we believe are necessary for people to have decent life. These were sewage system, a reliable sewage system, electricity, clean water, and fixed internet, high-speed internet. And we're currently executing on the project, connecting around 8 million households throughout Egypt, where around 60 million people are living with fixed broadband, high-speed fixed broadband, to ensure that each and every citizen in Egypt has access to the cyber world. The second work stream is services, to make sure that digital services, as we move into digitalizing government services and making sure that citizens can receive their entitlements and services that the government renders through an end-to-end digitalized process, it was also necessary to ensure that each and every citizen does have the capability to enjoy these services. So we have, of course, a digital platform and a mobile application. In addition, we made sure that all post office offices across the country, we have around 5,000 offices across the country. It's a very, very wide footprint of the postal organization in Egypt. We made sure that the government services are rendered in these offices. For our people who are not yet IT savvy, who are not yet ready to deal with technology directly, they can go to the nearest post office, which is in the same village or vicinity where they live, and the post office employee will help the citizen receive his entitlements and services digitally through an agent. Third are the skills, and we're very aggressive in training citizens across the country to be able to exploit digital systems and to be able to enjoy the privileges that a fully digitalized system can avail, to make sure that each and every employee can receive the services through digital means capably. So through these three work streams that we're working together, we're making sure that we're leaving no one behind.
Right, sir. I will back later to you again as to ask some question, but I'll move on first to Pak Sandi. Pak Sandi, good to see you, Pak.
Thank
Pak
you.
Sandi, you lead a ministry that really, I think it's really rely on technology and also digital innovation. How do you think so far about the development of digital innovation, especially the digital landscape in Indonesia, in supporting the creative economy?
First of all, I would like to welcome everybody here to wonderful Indonesia. Thank you for visiting the beautiful island of Bali and helping my KPIs. Because I've been targeted by the target that the president gave me is very, very high. And events like this really help me achieve my target. Secondly, please extend your stay by at least 3 to 4 days. The length of stay is also my KPI. And finally, please do spend to buy local creative products. The culinary, the fashions that I'm wearing, it's available just at the adjacent room. Anyway, I'm happy to report that the growth of digital economy in Indonesia is growing almost double the economic growth of the country. So at $82 billion in 2023, we're growing close to 8 to 10% and targeting to reach 109 billion by next year. Digital penetrations, as you know, is already reaching closer to 80%. The startup communities are very healthy with around 2,600 startups. Now, our creative economy and tourism increasingly rely on digitalizations. And the 13 unicorns that is recognized, it's, by the way, ranked sixth largest in the world, have also propelled the exports of creative economy at around $25 billion. So the creative economy using the digital platform has been able to add value, economic value added to around $85 billion, making us an 8% contributor to our GDP. So it is a must for us to embrace digital economy, and with the digitalizations that we're doing, the transformations, I'm happy to report that 25 million new jobs are being created in the sector.
So the digitalization indeed gave the huge impact for the creative economy sector in Indonesia, right, Pak? All right, I'll move on to Mr. Kamano. I'm really sure that we are all in each nation, in every government, are facing the same issue in digital innovation, implementation. How is the Guinea government handle this situation, sir? And what strategies to be prioritized to accelerate digital infrastructure?
Thank you. Merci à tous et je voudrais remercier les organisateurs et discuter sur
especially for technology and relevant to these challenges. Digitalization is a challenge that we must face. Our society is still young. There are many things that I can convey here, but whatever technology used, this is as if giving a key of Ferrari to someone who cannot drive. Of course, we need collaboration and innovation, and to accept changes, to accept that the reality, digitalization needs to be followed. And this will be a new method of work, and we need to consider this population with the current technology development. This is the challenge we are facing in our education system, especially for human capital, and also to maintain our resources. And this is the challenge that we are facing. And also the political will, where our president and his minister appoint officials to conduct this digitalization process. This is in accordance with our national policy, and also for post office and digitalization. I think the current challenges related to infrastructure. We have to facilitate other countries and access to technology that is developing right now. We provide under ocean cable, and we hope that this facility can be provided through a recommendation to provide undersea cable. But this is a new challenge that is faced by our population. And the developing countries must be able to facilitate this through different providers to accept services for the public, and also to give the proper facility for employment, and also access to education. The program that we are doing right now has just started for the past 10 days is digitalization for registry, to be able to manage our population, and especially for their identification through technology development. And this can also support financial development, where we cannot rationalize different sources of technology. So in conclusion, human capital development is a challenge that we must manage together, especially to maintain this human capital as a cultural heritage that we need to take care of and need to be maximize its potential.
Digitalization in the world, especially in the developing countries, don't give a Ferrari car to a driver or a person who cannot drive a Ferrari. That's why we need to learn together on this technology development. Thank you, sir. Next, I'll move on to Bu Marielka. Bu Elka, you are representing Indonesia and also the President of Indonesia as a special envoy in GBFA. Is there any specific mechanism or strategy of blended finance to strengthen the South-South coordination, especially in improving the digital infrastructure? Bu Elka.
Yes, thank you, Wahyu, for your question. First of all, I also want to join Pak Sandi in welcoming all of you to Indonesia, and especially to Bali, and to appreciate this event that, this is about Indonesia, Africa, about building up the friendships between Indonesia and Africa, something which has historically been very strong. And I also want to appreciate that I'm on this panel so that you're not a man-only panel. By the way, it's in many events, those are not allowed anymore. So maybe I would just make 3 points, not necessarily answering your question. Yeah. I think first of all, I wanted to focus on Africa-Indonesia potential cooperation in this area. And I wanted to start with an anecdote because as a minister, I think it must have been Minister of Tourism, I can't remember. I was in Nigeria and I complimented this young lady who was in the meeting with us on her clothes. And she said, oh, I ordered this from Indonesia on Facebook. This is many years ago, right? So I wanted to emphasize that our trade can actually be facilitated, especially between small, medium-sized enterprises through e-commerce. And I would encourage us to think how we can develop this, because e-commerce is growing in both of in your continent as well as in our country. So it's a potential area for cooperation which we can really develop. The second thing I wanted to share, I think there's a lot of learning of how are we developing digital economy between what you're experiencing and between what Indonesia is experiencing. And really it boils down to, okay, what are the lessons learned? Infrastructure is obviously important. Physical infrastructure is probably the prerequisite. You've got to have the connectivity, you've got to have the broadband and so on. But that is maybe where blended finance can come in. Public and private investments can come in through there. But actually, the success of digital economy has to go beyond the physical connectivity. It's what we call the public data infrastructure. You've got to, if people have to be connected to be part of the digital economy. How does that happen? Because digital economy increases productivity, efficiency, and it's supposed to increase development through inclusiveness. But inclusiveness doesn't happen if you're not part of the digital economy. So it has to start with the digital ID, which is, I think, some of your countries are already doing it. We are also doing it. But that digital ID has to be connected to your payment system, to your mobile number, so that you can deliver services through it. Yeah, and the second, I think, experience based on our experience as well as some of the countries in your continent, like M-Pesa, what's the use case to make it grow? Usually you start with public services delivery, whether it's a social program like a subsidy or cash transfer. And actually, COVID helped us to develop this incredibly with the delivery of cash transfer through digital means. We are actually in the process of increasing the use case, starting with health, again, learning from COVID. We're now going to have, our health ministry has this ambitious program of digitalizing everybody's health records that everybody can access, not just the hospital where you're belonging to. And that will improve the health delivery services. So that's kind of where we want to go, yeah? Finally, there are risks, and to make sure that what we're doing with digital economy or now AI, we have to really think about the regulatory frameworks to safeguard against the risks, the misuse, the privacy of data, and so on, with the benefits. And with the benefits is what they call the sandbox. In fintech, I'm sure you can explain in fintech, how to experiment on things that are not regulated yet, but allow it to happen in a safe space. But then later on, you can come up with the regulation. So this is kind of how to push the innovation, but at the same time, you've got to be careful about the risks and the costs, potential costs, and the potential for digital divide, as well as the bad things that can happen with AI and so on. So this is really something, hopefully, between Indonesia and Africa. We can share experiences and learn from each other on how we can make sure that digital and AI and innovation
is going to be for good, not and achieve development dividends.
Okay, right. Thank you, Bu Elka. I'll move to the panelists. I'll move to Azedin first. Azedin, we have met last night on the gala dinner with the president. And can you tell us, can you share us your success story on implementing technology or digital activities, digital innovation, and what kind of innovation did you use to support your business growth?
Okay, I'm very happy to be here today with you. My name is Izzeddin Kamil. I'm from Ethiopia. I think I'm the youngest here. I'm 23 years old. I'm studying my software engineering bachelor in Istanbul. At the same time, I am the co-founder and CEO of my tech startup called IBEX Technology and Promotion in Addis. We are working on digital innovations. We are both working on software and hardwares. We have been working on software development for the last 2 years. So the need for those software system in Ethiopia and other African country is very demanding. We are working for local companies and international companies. Even in US, I have employees from Ethiopia, also virtually from Pakistan and India. So we use a platform called like Upwork to hire international talents. Like we are hiring talents from, as I told you, from Pakistan, India. So this platform helps us to hire developers, software developers with affordable price. And those talents are very top talent. So one of the platform we are using is Upwork, and there are many freelancing platforms, so we can get access to those top talents across the world. So that's it.
Right, thank you, Azedin. I think Azedin is one of the examples on how young generation can be a role model on this digital era, and we have and we must learn to the younger generation. And you're still 23.
23, yes.
23 years old.
By the way, I have 13 patent rights. I've been awarded by the Ethiopian Prime Minister and globally by British Council. Yeah. So I've been working on those electromechanical inventions since I was a fourth grader. I am not originally from Addis. I came from the countryside of Ethiopia. So I think there is no limitation to contribute for digitalization with no access for facilities, I think.
Yeah, brilliant, wonderful. Thank you, Zainuddin. Right, I'll move on to Pak Munadi from Bank Negara Indonesia, or BNI, Pak. Pak Munadi, I've followed BNI's strategies in the past few years, 5 to 10, last 10 years, on digital transformation in how to give the customers the knowledge about the benefit of the technology. How do you see the progress and the result until today, Pak?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahyu. My honor to be here today in IAF, and actually BNI do the digitalization very well because in Indonesia we found the data is the user of the mobile, the internet in rural area still lag behind the urban area, and the penetration in urban area has reached number 74.2%, and only 65% 56.1% in rural area. To address the issue for digitalization, definitely we need to have the collective effort as well from government and PNI. PNI as a state-owned bank from the government of Indonesia have initiated also to related all the shareholder of mobile internet economy. And also our digital touch point that we also have one division that is responsible for developing also the agent banking, especially for the increasing digital connectivity, and also the financial inclusion. And we open the opportunity of the financial inclusion for the rural area, especially for the remote area in Indonesia, because Indonesia is a very huge country. We have many rural area in many sides of the East Indonesia, but with one of our program is the Agent 46. We can touch the remote area with the banking facility from the BNI, and also we make them the Agent 46 as agent of development, and also we can give the added value to transaction also for the financing, the micro financing for the small business and for the people who can do the transaction in their area. And also with this facility, the people from the remote area can get the better education and health with the PNI and also the government of Indonesia. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Pak Munadi. I'll move on to Pak Darmawan from Bank Mandiri. Pak Darmawan, I think we are already know in Indonesia that Bank Mandiri is very adaptive in utilizing digital innovation for its customer. As Pak Munadi says, in BNI, customers are the agent of development, right, Pak Munadi? What about in Bank Mandiri, Pak Darmawan? Can you share us your success story and the best practices from Mandiri?
Yeah, thank you, Pak Wahyu, and also all the excellencies, honorable delegates and speakers, and all ladies and gentlemen. Bank Mandiri is one of the leading banks in Indonesia, especially on the wholesale banking. And if we talk about the digitalization, we had just started by October 2021, because before we really consider about the capability of our system and also the people. And that's why we just started by October 2021. We redefine the business model first, because it's not possible for us go to digital first and then just follow the old model of the business. And then after we realize the core competence of the bank as the wholesale bank, and then we continue how we penetrate the market with the digitalization. And then we decided to go to the digital transformation by internal approach. We develop our in-house capability, no more vendors dependencies, and then enable us to improve all the services and products that deliver through the digital platform, and also the connectivity that we consider. We approach by the ecosystem from our wholesale client relationship, because before we just have the lending business to the wholesale clients, not on the value chain of the wholesale client. Now we could access by all the community where the internet connectivity is provided. So if the operator telecommunication is not there, we assisted them with the low Earth orbit satellite. So we have now like 78, almost 80 points that we already put installed the low Earth orbit satellite. So Bank Mandiri now, not only at the urban side, but also to the rural, especially where the ecosystem of our wholesale clients have the business. That's enable us to grow our business through digital transformation and also to improve the economic activities for its zone there.
Right, so redefining the business model is really crucial, right, Pak Darmawan, to pivoting the next strategy, especially in using digital innovation or digital technology. Right, we'll move on to our eighth panelist, Mas Noval. Mas Noval, it's been 8 or 9 years, I think, for Aruna, if I'm not mistaken, right, to be the one of leading fisheries and marine platform in Indonesia. Please tell us, Mas Noval, about your success story in co-founding the Aruna.
Thank you, Mas Wahyu. So first of all, it's an honor to be here with all the panelists here. Thank you for the invitation. So my name is Farid, currently the co-founder and CEO of Aruna. So Aruna is like the leading fisheries technology enabled company in Indonesia. We deliver seafood product from Indonesia worldwide. So currently we are working with around 50,000 fishermen all over Indonesia. So in 150 plus locations, all over Indonesia, covering more than 30 provinces. So we are already operating more than 8 years, starting for the first period of our presidents. And I can say we are one of the products of the government support, because at that time, there's a lot of event, a lot of competition. We are one of the winners of the hackathon competition that held by the government in 2015. And until now, we have like hundreds of employees, thousands of the worker help to providing the processing facility all over Indonesia. So what we are doing is, before Aruna, Indonesia is consists of like 1,000 archipelago island. So there is a lot of disparity of information and access to market. So what we are doing is we try to make it more efficient, because there are a lot of middlemen here. It's hard for the fishermen, for the farmers to get access to the market directly. So currently with us, they just selling the product to our collection point, and we distribute the product directly to worldwide. So that's what we are doing. We utilize the technology to collect all the information and to inform all the customer worldwide about all the product that can be produced from Indonesia. And after that, the customer can do the order directly to our fishermen. So, that's basically what we are doing. With all the process that we are doing, we really think local. So we work together with the local people there to become the manager of the fisherman community. The one that use our apps is not the fisherman itself, because it's hard to make them to adapt to new technology, but we make the local young people to use the apps to distribute the information, to connect directly with the community. So it's work, and currently we, with these models, we're working with 50 more thousand fishermen and more fishermen to join in. Yeah.
So how many fishermen are working for Aruna?
50,000, 55,000 fishermen.
55,000.
Indonesia has nearly 3 million fishermen. There is a lot of fishermen.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, how do you manage all the fishermen who live in the rural area, in coastal area, to adapt in using application or any software that you've been given from Aruna?
Yeah, the fisherman itself didn't use the apps directly. So the one that used is the local young people that become the community manager. So the fishermen just coming to the collection point that we built and the fishing village. So they just coming in, get the information about the product that they need to be produced or catch on the sea, and then from that they can share or collect the product to our collecting point. So from that one, it's make them easier because it easier for them to sell the product. Just find our collection point and then they can sell it. So We also got the support from the government because currently in the last 8 years, the development of the network connectivity is really progressive. Even in the remote area, like in Papua, in some island in remote area, there is like 5G or 4G connection. So there is a lot of help on that one.
Right, all right. Pak Sandi, any thoughts on what must Novel have done with the Aruna with thousands of fishermen are using the technology?
I'm just amazed that 55,000 fishermen are now empowered. I started before I joined politics, Excellency Minister, I was a bit richer. I was a business person before.
We all were.
So I created a business whereby over more than 25 years, we go through stages, and after 25 years, the collections of the companies created around 30,000 jobs. But Aruna was able to create 55,000 opportunities for fishermen to get their economies improved. So I'm very amazed, and that's the power of technology. And this is what we're seeing also in tourism and creative economy. From VR, virtual reality, to augmented reality that helps promote destinations, to NFTs, to tokens. We have games that is created now to not only sell products, but also promote destinations. There's a game being played to memorize the food, the Indonesian Spice Up the World food that Ibu Mari, previous Minister of Tourism, created, like nasi goreng, which is one of Indonesia's most famous cuisine, gado-gado, the salad. This game is actually not only been able to create a lot of downloads, but they help promote Indonesia tourism and creative economy products.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pak Sandi. So I'll back to Mr. Talaat. We are now talking about the readiness of the workforce to adapt in digital era. How is your government ensuring that all citizens in Egypt can access adequate jobs in digital sector?
Right. I believe this is a very important point in any ICT strategy. I believe it is the cornerstone. No ICT strategy can ever succeed without having skills, human skills, as its prime pillar and main cornerstone. We were aware of this when we started the Digital Egypt strategy around 6.5 years back now. And then the ministry I'm responsible for was training 4,000 people every year. We started a very aggressive plan to increase this number. Last fiscal year that ended last June, we succeeded in training 400,000, 100 times as much as what we started with only 6 years back. This year, we're aiming for 500,000, 500,000, again, up from 4,000 a year. It's not only about number, it's about a complete strategy that takes into consideration several elements. First is the specializations. We make sure that our people are trained on the most coveted ICT disciplines that are demanded by the current and future labor market. Second, again, is the inclusiveness. We make sure that each and every citizen in Egypt has the opportunity to get into one of these training programs. They're all for free, they're all paid by the government, and they're availed for all qualified citizens. Now we have training initiatives from 8 to 88. So each and every Egyptian starting the age of 8 up to the age of 88 does have a training opportunity if she or he decides to get into an ICT profession. Third is to make sure that it is not only about technical skills. It has to be a well-integrated set of skills that we avail through training. So it's technical training, it's soft skills, personal capabilities, to make sure that we produce a well-integrated set of skills ready to compete in today's labor market. Also, partnerships are very important. All the training initiatives that we offer are in partnership, either with distinguished universities in Egypt or throughout the world, or with famous multinationals that are pioneers in the specializations that we offer to our trainees. I believe it's paying off. In 1 year, our digital exports have grown around 30%. Our offshoring exports have grown 54% in 1 year. The ICT sector in Egypt is the fastest growing sector with a steady 16% year-on-year growth. We're continuing on more and more expanding digital skills, both in quality and quantity. Number of multinationals that are realizing the expansion of the skill pool and therefore setting up offshoring centers out of Egypt to leverage this skill pool is increasing by the day now.
One more thing, sir. One thing that is currently trending in digital innovation is the use of artificial intelligence or AI. What measures do your government do to adapt to rapid change, to rapid development in AI technologies?
Indeed, AI is the flavor of the month, as they say. And now generative AI has even added to the equation. Of course, AI is one of the most prominent ICT technologies nowadays. And it's very important for each and every government to set a strategy to benefit from what AI can offer, and in the meantime, to make sure that you're vigilant and aware of the risks and hazards that AI can pose. We have an R&D center in Egypt that started building AI-based solutions in healthcare, in agri-tech, in fintech, in government services facilitation to make sure that we leverage the merits of and advantages of AI. Meanwhile, we have a charter for safe use of AI. Now we're busy with an AI Act that we want to make sure that all the hazards that AI applications can generate, such as neutrality of data and inclusion of targets of AI, are well taken care of legislatively and also among a societal awareness of the AI hazards. We've issued a strategy for AI several years back and executed on it. Now we're currently getting ready to issue version 2 of that AI. This includes, of course, again, capacity building. We have around 25 faculties across the country that are faculties of AI, in addition to training courses for various segments of our society to get to know what AI can offer and how to protect oneself from the hazards of this technology.
Right, thank you, Mr. Talaat. I'll move on to Mr. Kamano. Mr. Kamano, as we know that one of the biggest issues in digital innovation and digital sectors are the cost and also the access. How can your government strengthen and ensuring the affordability and also accessibility to all citizens, particularly in rural areas, sir?
Merci beaucoup. Alors, au-delà des opportunités que présente l'intelligence artificielle dans la gestion des données, nous sommes dans des réformes.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. The reform on how to overcome the misuse of artificial intelligence, whereby we once again need to ensure, as mentioned by my colleague from Egypt, we must anticipate this digitalization, and this is something that we are undertaking, and we need to consider that each data has its own characteristics because artificial intelligence possesses a special permit and intellectual property right. Therefore, the legalization of this AI is necessary, and we need to establish an affordable infrastructures, and we must make sure that its availability, and this will drive the digitalization and all parties involved, including to secure and to the annexation of the process within our capability, not only related to cost, but also there should be authority with the official with the authority to create a rules base and to avoid monopoly. And how to determine this tariff is also important, and how the artificial intelligence will not bring a negative impact to the payment system. And we must also protect the creativity and must adapt with the relevant regulations. And this digital transformation is crucial, especially in protection of education, health, and all payment system. And thanks to the artificial intelligence that enable young generation and to ensure our role in the country as part of the government to facilitate all the advancement in the physical space. We also facilitate a startup for better access for SMEs to enter the market, and we also continue to drive and to promote creativity of all relevant stakeholders each year, especially for the SMEs that continues to grow. The most important thing is the legislation that will enable to facilitate progress and growth in a remarkable rate. And this is a real opportunity for us to boost macroeconomy and to increase the wealth of our countries. And this is a challenge for us to continue to protect and continue to increase the capacity of the relevant technicians, and through the right legislation. And nowadays, the legislation must be able to answer the challenges, and the capacity that we have must be better controlled by the client. Thank you.
Story from Mr. Kamano on how Guinea is working to utilize technology to support digital transformation. So in what ways can the G20 GBFA facilitate the cooperation on developing nations, developing countries in their digital transformation journey?
I think the issue perhaps is about how do you have global cooperation on a very complex issue like AI and digital. I mean, when you talk about trade, when you talk about trade, you have the WTO, you have trading system where countries set up the rules of the game. Even in finance, you have IMF, you have Basel, and so on. But really, we are struggling when we talk about technology, the role of digital and the role of AI, because there's actually no, or 5G or 6G, there is no obvious coordination that's going on. And even some people are really worried that you might end up with a bipolar world in terms of technology, you know, Chinese-led, US-led technology. And that's actually, it hurts developing countries if we have to get punished for choosing one technology or the other. So I think this is actually a very big global issue, which we would hope that G20 would be able to address. But it is a complex issue, because on the one hand, you have the issue of how AI and digital should be for good, right? It increases productivity and so on, but it also leads to job losses. See, this is the other worry, big worry in many countries. Maybe not job losses, but routine tasks. They say don't call them jobs anymore, you call them tasks. Routine tasks is already overtaken by digital and will continue to be overtaken by AI. What do you do with the people? You need to reskill them, you need to make them agile to be able to move. So there's a lot of issues regarding training and labor policy that needs to be also discussed globally. And then all the negative side, right? The misuse of AI, whether it's fake news or all these negative dark side of the AI. How do you cooperate globally on that as well? I think this is going to be, it is really keeping a lot of people up at night, basically, because there's no obvious way. So maybe us as developing countries, we need to think through how do we make sure that it's going to be for good and not for bad, absent of the ability for global cooperation or creation of standards. So I think this is maybe a good area for us to really have good discussions. And it's really hard, you know, I'm a professor in the university. Just in the last 2 years, I have my students giving me papers in perfect English. It never happened before, right? And I was like, perfect English and like perfectly structured. And I know they are using AI.
By the help of the chat.
Yeah, so maybe I'm going to be out of a job, you know?
Yeah.
So I think the final thing I would...
You try one thing, Professor.
Huh?
Ask them to create a pantun.
Hey, they can do that. You can create pantun and poems.
I cannot do it. I tried.
Oh, you
pantun
tried?
Not yet.
They
It
can
will
create
take maybe
poems.
a few weeks for
Yeah.
AI to create a pantun.
So my learning from that is that you have to kind of self-regulate, right?
Yeah.
So we said, okay, you guys, you can use AI, but just say that you use AI or you use whatever, I think it's called Grammarly, where they correct the English and so on. Just say that you did use it. Right?
Yeah.
And then you can, at least you know, and then you know, you have to have a way to test whether they actually know what, did they just download or did they actually know what they're saying or doing? So we have other means to test that. So I think self-regulation would be my other, I think we learn how to manage with self-regulating like that kind of processes. But it also means me, old professor, I have to learn how to use generative AI. Otherwise, I will be out of a job.
Right. Bu Mari. So we need the ethics, the moral, to counter the disadvantage of the use of the AI. So, our last questions, it is the same question to be asked to Pak Darmawan and also Pak Munadi. Pak Darmawan first. Pak Darmawan, as we move to the future, what kind of digital trends do you see will be impactful for Indonesia's economy? And what can state-owned bank do for us now, especially for the industry?
What we have done in Bank Mandiri, actually, the transformation on digital to anticipate it, what's going on in the market, because the fintechs and also the other players, probably they a bit relaxed than the banking sectors because we are very regulated. But we try to introduce to the market that we also have the capability to develop the digital capacity. And so far, we see that we enlarge the penetration and also the business coverage of Bank Mandiri, because as I mentioned before, we are known as the urban banks, but now we have the capacity to get the access to the all society of the Indonesia, to all the region. And of course, we use our wholesale client ecosystem. Otherwise, it's very hard for bank like Mandiri to access to the rural area without any office presence and also the workforce. But so far, we had 2,600 branches before, but now around 2,100. But we growing the business significantly because supported by the digital. But also we see the role of AI probably more on the retail side because the repetition of the task is very possible right now. But also we, in the regulated industry, it's not possible for us to go advance without the approval from the regulators. We are in the discussion with the OJK as the regulators to set up the regulation for the AI role in Indonesia for banking industry, because otherwise it's making a chaos in the system. And so far for wholesale banking segment, we still need human judgment because it's really tailor-made and based on the sectors, not the same every year because we see the cycle of the community, for instance, in the international market, and we have to be really focused on the risk management best practice. It's very tough so far until now if we rely on the AI role for the wholesale banking segment. For the retail, yes, we put the AI role for the repetition tasks, especially to our digital branches so far. We have around 240 branches already served by the digital. And then I think the progress is quite good. That's why as the use case to OJK as the regulators, that is possible if we really put on the discipline. Right. Which one, we don't know yet, but we go to it.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Pak Darmawan. Pak Munadil, last Sam question, Pak.
Actually, the BNI firmly use the technology for our banking system. As Pak Sandi said, that the AI have enhanced our productivity. Honestly, I prepare my material today from the perplexity application. So I browse myself and prepare everything from my mobile phone to prepare and to know that what kind of the business for my colleague here in the States have done to their digitalization. But BNI use the AI for the customer experience, for helping them to make our services faster and easier for customer. And also we have the open banking system to provide the application from our services, especially to maintaining the data security for our customer. And also as the banking have to do that, we enhance our mobile banking and payment system, and also the big data analysis. So with the customer experience, we focus on the customer need and make them easier to do the transaction, even for the personal or for the business use case. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Pak Munadi, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Excellencies, we have talked on digital innovation and technology advancement that can be impactful in many sectors. However, the challenges are still here, are still there to be tackled by all stakeholders, all nations, all governments, all the industries, both state-owned banks and private sectors as well, that must be hand in hand to find solutions together. And we must believe by learning from the success story and the best practices in Indonesia, both in Indonesia and Africa, can take the advantages, all the potential that we have together. So one more time, thank you very much, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and all the VIPs. And thank you for joining the last panel in today's agenda. So I'm Wahyu Wiwoho signing out. I'll give it to you back to Bagilda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause once again to our panelists and moderator for this panel discussion, for the final panel discussion for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of day one of the second Indonesia-Africa Forum 2024. Would like to thank the Tony Blair Institute as the knowledge partner of the second Indonesia-Africa Forum. Tomorrow we begin panel discussion in investing research and innovation for health, Africa and Indonesia's priorities, starting at 9 o'clock. So tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, 9 o'clock, we reconvene in this room. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. We do still have coffee and tea right outside for you to enjoy and, of course, continue on the discussions that has been presented by all our speakers and today. Thank you very much, our Minister. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, farewell.